Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. Welcome to NJIT, the New Jersey Institute of Technology. This is One-on-One, a series we called Newark at a Crossroads. We're pleased to welcome once again Ron Beit, who is CEO and founding partner of the RBH Group, which is?
A real estate developer here in downtown Newark.
And we first started hearing about you when you and your colleagues created something called Teachers Village. Describe that.
A community in the heart of downtown with residences, new schools, and stores all centered around teachers of Newark, district school, charter school, and independent school teachers. So teachers living in the community, teaching in the community, and shopping in the community.
Why is that such a big deal?
It was a unique way to energize a neighborhood that sat fallow for decades.
What was there, Ron?
92% surface parking lot and dilapidated buildings. No residences, half a dozen stores, literally neglected for decades. And bringing in the energy of teachers to catalyze an economic development project.
What's it look like today?
4 buildings are complete. 5th building is rounding the corner. We'll finish in the next few weeks. And the 6th building, the largest building, is rising out of the ground now. So the full vision is almost complete. By next summer, we'll have the stores in, and the full vision will have been executed.
As a developer, what's that like for you?
It's been a labor of love. It's been a long time coming, assembling the land, getting the platform in, not only in Newark and New Jersey, in the state, that you can actually develop these types of projects. It's been a lot of work, but it is extremely rewarding when we see what's going on around us, not only in Teachers Village itself. When you walk through there, it's a completely different neighborhood, but the surrounding areas with the Marriott Courtyard Hotel and Indigo Hotels and the Prudential Center, and Prudential just built a new tower, and Panasonic coming. It's unbelievable. The vision that we had for the city is on the move.
How much energy does Newark have? And by the way, everything you mentioned was downtown. Is there a difference in your mind between downtown and the rest of the city in terms of the energy?
No, I think every pocket of the city you go to, you see that energy. It starts at the heart and goes out to the arteries, but you're starting to see now that activity, and there's been tremendous residential development in the wards, tremendous commercial activity, and there's a real experiment underway in Newark, not only in the downtown, but in the entire city.
Let's talk about another neighborhood, a neighborhood that is not the neighborhood I grew up in. I grew up in the northern part of the city, in the North Ward, but a neighborhood that I got introduced to along with many others who wound up finding about the Ironbound. We call it the East Ward. It is the eastern part of the city, one of the 5 wards, but the Ironbound. You're involved in a project there called Makers Village. What is it, and why is that so significant?
It's a different community development in terms of that is a more industrial type project. So we brought in a tenant called AeroFarms.
AeroFarms. What do they do?
It's going to be the largest vertical farm in the world.
Vertical farm?
Yeah, it's technology out of the Cornell School of Agriculture, and it's soilless, sunless, no pesticides, 90% less water than a traditional farm. And the best part about it is that right now we're getting our leafy greens from the West Coast, and it takes 6 days to get on the shelves. It's going to be within an hour on the shelves here, and it's going to be farmed by Newarkers.
Farmed by Newarkers?
Yeah, Newarkers.
You're talking about jobs.
Jobs, Newarkers working in this 21st century technology, creative type business. And that's exactly what Makers Village, what we call the project, over at 212 Rome. It is the Newark and the state of New Jersey's answer to the Brooklyn Navy Yards. 21st century manufacturing type jobs right here in Newark, right here in New Jersey. And this neighborhood is ripe for that type of development. So very different than Teachers Village, where we're building residential and schools. This is industrial, 21st century manufacturing type jobs here in Newark that equally attracts the creative class that we're trying to bring to Newark.
You know, Ron, you mentioned Brooklyn. Make the Brooklyn comparison for us, because our partners at WNET, the biggest and most significant public television station in the country, there's a huge audience in Brooklyn, Manhattan, the 5 boroughs of New York City. We're seeing a lot of places. A lot of people in Brooklyn watching us right now saying, are you kidding? We have the energy. We are the ones who are the incubators. We're the ones who have the high-tech energy. We're doing, compare Newark to Brooklyn.
Brooklyn has done a phenomenal job attracting the creative class. And that's exactly what we're doing now in Newark. I would say that we have an advantage over Newark. Number one, we have a better cost structure.
What does that mean, a better cost structure?
It's cheaper. It's cheaper than Brooklyn. We also have a better location. We have better nexus than mass transit than Brooklyn does. And our ports and our airport are right here. And so my positioning is that we can attract that creative class here to Newark, New Jersey.
The creative class? Who are you talking about?
It's a broad spectrum, but it's these millennials, these echo boomers that are creating new business, these new entrepreneurs in the technology businesses, in the creative type businesses, in the entertainment type businesses. You have this generation of entrepreneurs and young energy that Brooklyn has done a great job in attracting. Newark is doing it and will do a better job because not only do we have all the elements of Brooklyn, not only are we cheaper, not only do we have the better location, as I mentioned, but we have in Newark this historic urban fabric that we're rebuilding now. And so Brooklyn is pockets of energy that combines into an amazing experiment. Newark will be this walkable, livable city that they just don't have in Brooklyn. And so I would say we're going to have the urban landscape that's going to attract them, the bars, the restaurants, and everything that they're looking for right here in Newark.
Real quick, some of the partners that you have in some of these initiatives, name them.
I mean, it starts with my core group, which is Nicholas Bergruin, Warren Lichtenstein, Fred Eisman, and Jeff Gould of BRT. That's my core group. Without them, I couldn't have done anything.
What about some of the organizations?
And then you get Goldman Sachs Urban Investment Group and the Prudential Social Investment. Between those two behemoths that are in every project in downtown Newark, this experiment does not happen. But then you also have the public partners in the city of Newark and in the state of New Jersey. Without the public investment platform that was created here in the last several years, none of these projects
So people
happen.
say, hey, public dollars into a private initiative, what are you doing? It doesn't belong there. You say?
You have to create the market, and within 2 to 3 years, you'll have this private sector coming in here, and that public investment will have paid off in dividends.
Newark is at a crossroads. Which way does it go?
It's in 2 to 3 years, you won't recognize it. It's the 21st century global city.
21st century global city.
Yeah, I think everything you talk about, when you talk about just from the building perspective, that we're building better than everyone else, building green. But when you talk about the social experiment that's going on in Newark, there's nowhere else like it in the world.
You know, you've had to lead a lot of these efforts, and you've had to have a lot of patience. It's interesting to me when you first came to town, people said, "Who's this young guy and what is he doing?" So I'm going to ask you a question I've asked a lot of people about leadership. It's part of a series we do called Lessons in Leadership. What would you say, as a developer and as an entrepreneur, the number one leadership lesson you've learned so far is?
You have to believe your narrative to your core, because you need to be able to have the passion and the energy to wake up every day and move through every obstacle, and the obstacle,
every rejection,
every obstacle. And but I think at the end of the day, when you believe in your mission to your core, it gets you up in the morning and gets you over that fence.
Ron Beit, CEO, founding partner, the RBH Group, doing important things as Newark is at this critical crossroads. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Stay right there. From the New Jersey Institute of Technology, another great institution. Stay with us. We'll be right back. One-on-one, right here.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been provided by Barnabas Health, Prudential Financial's Global Communications Department, TD Bank, Verizon Communications, PSE&G, the Fidelco Group, and by the North Ward Center. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato at NJIT has been produced in cooperation with FiOS One News.